Ladies and gentlemen, may we ask you to rise as we commence our program with the arrival of the Borough President, Eric Adams, our dear friend, and Helen. May the color guard proceed. We are very proud each year to have the color guard of Boy Scout Troop 531, the Golden Greeks, who are here today to present the colors and open our ceremony. Before we sing the national anthems and the invocation of prayer, a welcome address by our colleague and committee member, Zoe. The welcome address will be offered by Zoe Koutsoupakis. Please remain standing.
Honorable Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, Honorable Konstantinos Koutras, Consul General of Greece, Lina Zakiou, Consulate of Greece, Honorable Menelos Menelau, Deputy Permanent Representative of the Republic of Cyprus, Tsoukaris, State Senate of Rhode Island, Panagiotis Kouroublis, Minister of Maritime and members of his mission, our dear friend Andrew Gunardis, Legal Counsel to the Brooklyn President, Mr. Eric Adams, honorable and distinguished guests. Dear friends and today's honorees, it is with a great pleasure that I offer greetings to all of you here today. We thank our Borough President, Mr. Eric Adams, for his hospitality in celebrating with the Hellenic community of Brooklyn our Greek heritage, a historical day. We sincerely thank you and we love you, Mr. Eric Adams. We are gathered here to celebrate the Greek Independence Day. This day reminds us that Greeks in 1821 declared to all known people of that time that Greece fought throughout the centuries for liberty, human rights, freedom, and justice for all. Greece until today is fighting to perpetuate the human values, the democratic and humanitarian ideas. The success of this event reflects the combined efforts of many. A very special thank goes to our chairman, very Reverend Eugene Pappas. We thank you for your leadership. And I will call out the members that helped us in today's event. Basil Kapetanakis, James Tampakis, Sandy Vallas could not be here with us today due to prior commitments, and John Haskopoulos for making this year another successful one. Special thanks to Andrew Gunardis, Candace Julian, and Sambra Chapman for all their support and hard work. Special thanks goes to our benefactors for today's event, Signature Bank, to our sponsors, Bay Ridge Federal Credit Union, Meridian Properties, and Basil Kapetanakis. In addition, I want to thank all the restaurants and pastry shops that sponsored and donated the food that you will all see and taste later on today. But most importantly, our dear friend Alex Vanek from ASAP for doing the hard work of picking up all the food and to make sure they're here at Borough Hall by 3 p.m. We thank him and we appreciate everything he does for us. We thank Sofia Stasinou, our school dance coordinator, and our schools that are going to perform for us today, and once again will make all of us very proud. They truly deserve our appreciation. Congratulations to today's worthy honorees. They are strong supporters of our community, schools, and Hellenism throughout the region. They are all dynamic, successful individuals and professionals involved in various organizations offering endless hours of love and dedication. Axi, I thank you for all coming here today to celebrate our Greek Independence Day. Χρόνια πολλά, να ζήσει η Ελλάδα μας. Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Thank you, Zoe. As we are remaining standing, let us sing with joy and with pride the Greek national anthem. Σε γνωρίζω από την όψη του σπαθιού την τρομερή, σε γνωρίζω από την όψη που με διάμετρα την γη, απ' τα κόκκαλα βγαλμένη των Ελλήνων τα ιερά, και σαν πρώτα αντριωμένη χεροχέρ ελευθεριά, και σαν πρώτα αντριωμένη χεροχέρ ελευθεριά, και σαν πρώτα αντριωμένη χεροχέρ ελευθεριά. Ζήτω το έθνος και πάση η Ελλάδα. Please join us in singing a wonderful hymn to our country that we all know and we all love. God bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Remain standing for the invocation to be offered by Father Damaskinos Ganas.
All together. Δόξα Πατρί και Υιό και Υιό Πνεύματι και νυν και αεί και ως αιώνας των αιώνων αμήν. Πάτερ ημών, ο εν της ουρανής, αγιαστήτω το όνομά σου, ελθέτω η βασιλεία σου, γεννηθήτω το θέλημά σου, ως εν ουρανό και επί της γης, των άρτων ημών των επιούσιων, δώσει ημίν σήμερον, και άφεση ημίν τα οφειλήματα ημών, ως και εμείς αφίεμε τις οφελέτες ημών, και μη εις εν έγκυς ημάς πειρασμών, αλλά ρίσε ημάς από του πονηρού. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from them. All together, ti permacho. Ti permacho, στρατηγό τα νικητήρια, ως λυτρωθήσα των δεινών ευχαριστήρια, αναγράφωση η πόλη σου Θεοτόκε, άλλος έχου σαν το κράτος απροσμάχητον, εκ παντίον με κινδύνων ελευθερώσον, ειν ακράζωση χερενήφη ανήφευτε.
The color guard may retire. You may be seated. It is always our august and distinct pleasure to have with us the Borough President of the Borough of Kings. That's what Brooklyn is called, the Borough of Kings, because right across the line we have Queens. We have some jokers too, but we're the Borough of the Kings. And so it's our pleasure to bring forward the Honorable Eric L. Adams, Brooklyn Borough President.
Thank you. This is probably one of our most exciting and well-organized event because Father Pappas runs a tight ship. Trust me, it will be done in record time, but given the respect to all who are honored, to the Consul General and others, we call Brooklyn the Athens of America. You know, this is a place where Greek pride is respected and nourished. Let me say this in my brief comments as we welcome you here, and we enjoy so much of having our heritage events. Last week we had Irish Heritage. The week after we had the Dominican Republic. All groups come here. In this borough, 47% of the people of the borough of Brooklyn speak a language other than English at home. This is the United Nations of America, where all groups come together, and it's the cross-section of our culture, our food, our music, our dance, that allows us to realize how important it is that we live in a diverse environment such as Brooklyn and such as a place called America. I like to always remind people throughout the country and throughout the globe, I am not the borough president of English speakers. I'm the borough president of every language that is spoken in this great borough we call Brooklyn. This is a great place to raise healthy children and families. As we have this heritage celebration, it's imperative that people realize the struggles that the Greek community has undergone throughout the years. These are comfortable times now, but it was not always that way. There's a very rich tradition of having to overcome large number of racism and large number of anti-Greek sentiment. I was looking at one article in an old paper that was in Alaska. This is an old clipping. And in the paper, it has a job announcement. And on the bottom of the announcement, it says, no Greeks need apply. But it didn't end there. If you looked at it in 1908 in Nevada, there was a large anti-Greek settlement. In 1909 in South Omaha, Nebraska, Greek property owners and landowners had their homes burnt and removed, and they were forced out of the city because of anti-Greek settlement. The Greek population had to leave the city in the midst of the night because of the violence. Local press used derogatory terms to identify the Greek people. Those anti-Greek feelings spilled over into Salt Lake City in Utah in 1917 that almost resulted in a lynching of Greek immigrants. It wasn't until 1922 that American Hellenic Educational Progressive Association came together to turn the tide and send a very loud and clear message that Greek Americans are here, not for the moment, but for as long as America is here, and they have a right to be here. That is what makes our country great. It is. And I say over and over again, for those who are not familiar, there's a character in a popular sitcom called Seinfeld. They had a gentleman that was called the soup guy. Everyone who came to purchase soup from him, he will insult before he served them the soup. America is a soup guy. All groups that came to America went through difficult times. Early Chinese built the American railroad system and could not ride on the trains. Early African Americans picked cotton and couldn't wear the clothing that the cotton was picked from. Early Jews came to America fleeing Nazi Germany only to be turned back and not allowed to come and resonate here. Early Hispanics couldn't speak English but navigated the system so that they can provide for their families. Under the fingernails of every ethnic group is the dirt and grime of climbing up the mountain one hand at a time to participate in the American dream. But when you get there, you lean back and think of Ralph Crandon and you say how sweet it is to be part of the American experience and what America has to offer. And my apologies to those who are not Brooklynites. We believe there are two types of people in America, those who live in Brooklyn and those who wish they could. Happy Greek Heritage Day.
Thank you. No one says it better than the Brooklyn Borough President. Thank you, Mr. Adams. It is with distinct pleasure, Mr. Adams, you're going to meet a lady tonight if you haven't met her already. She's a phenomenon in the Greek American community, especially in Brooklyn, but certainly all across America. And that is a girl who was brought up in the Midwood section of Brooklyn, a Greek American girl who was raised in the Three High Rocks parish of that area, and whose mother and father deeply planted the seeds of service to the community, Greek and otherwise. I would like to call forward our keynote address speaker, Ms. Paulette Poulos.
Thank you, Father. The Honorable Borough President Eric Adams, Your Excellency Dr. Konstantinos Koutras, Consul General of Greece, the Honorable Lina Zakou, Consul of Greece, the Honorable Andrew Gonadis, our beloved Council Borough President, distinguished honorees, ladies and gentlemen. In the words of our beloved Father Eugene, I am pleased to say, hello, Brooklyn. It is with great humility that I stand here this evening with the outstanding recipients of the Brooklyn Hellenic Heritage Award, which carries special meaning for me. All these distinguished honorees have contributed of their time, their talent, and their treasure toward the perpetuation and advancement of Hellenism. I join all of you in expressing our heartfelt thanks and gratitude to each and every one of them. Axia, on March 25th, we commemorate the 197th anniversary of Greek independence, the revolution that restored the world's oldest democracy and reminded the world of the contributions of Hellenism to the West and to all humanity. I join you in acknowledging that event and those contributions within one special place in my heart, the borough of Brooklyn. As a native of Brooklyn and product of its vibrant Greek community, I first became aware of this awesome heritage that has penetrated the institutions of the United States and the lives of all Americans, even into the 21st century. For me, that community was centered in the Three High Rocks Church, where we took special meaning in the fact that the flag of the revolution in 1821 was raised by a Greek Orthodox bishop over a monastery on the Feast of the Annunciation. But the meaning goes back centuries, as the ancient Greeks, who were, in a sense, the founding fathers of the Western civilization. It was in ancient Greece that the arts, the sciences, medicine, history, philosophy, and even political and military science, as well as athletics, has all begun. All were rooted in the freedom and values of civilization. Those values became the clarion call of freedom for all future reforms and revolutions, from the Renaissance or Reformation to the American and French revolutions, as well as the Greek Revolution, and in our day to the struggles for civil and human rights. Those values came to be known as Hellenism, the civilizing Greek spirit that continues to work its way through every society that prizes the life of the mind, the creativity of the heart, the versatility of the body, and the freedom of the spirit. Those values, Hellenism, is still relevant in our times today. It is inescapable and penetrates every aspect of our lives and that of our society. I became fully aware of the significance of what it means to be a true Hellene in my long association with Archbishop Dikeakos of blessed memory, who was remembered as a great American leader, as well as a leader of his church and community, because of his understanding and devotion to Hellenism. Along with the Archbishop and the untiring love and guidance I received from my parents, Rebecca and Charles, who raised me in Brooklyn, I was instilled, together with my sister Carol and my brother Peter, with those values of Hellenism, with the importance of faith and integrity. As executive director of the Archbishop Iakovos Leadership 100 Fund, I am privileged to meet Hellenes and Philhellenes from all over the world, and they all take pride in sharing not only our culture and our heritage, but our values also. I am sure that each one of you has your own story of challenge for those values that build our lives and those we love into a great moral force that contributes to society today. I love Brooklyn, and I know how it has grown into one of the most vital communities in today's world, and it stands as a symbol for these very values that we all cherish. Let us move together into the future with the realization and create a better community and a better nation in America and throughout the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulette, Poulos, and we're so proud that the keynote address was delivered by one of our own, a Brooklyn Greek American. Now for the presentation of the citations to the honorees, where we have special presenters who are going to come forward and read the citation, and as they are read, I think you'll see it on the screen as well. James Tampakis will come forward first to offer the reading for Dikeakos.
If Mr. Dikeakos can escort his wife up front, please. We have a dynamic duo here from St. Connie's. We're honoring both of them tonight. So we're going to start ladies first. Dikeakos was born in Kalithea, Athens. She was one of 4 children. She came to the U.S. in 1963 without prior knowledge of English, where she studied to become a radiology technician while working in a grocery store to cover her expenses. After years in hospital patient care, she eventually created her own business, providing radiological imaging services to doctors throughout Brooklyn. She and her husband, Teddy, were married in 1969 at Gimisis Theotokou Church. They have 3 children, Aphrodite, Maria, and George, who graduated from the Fantis Parochial School. Eula has been very active in the Saints Constantine and Helen community, first as member and past president of the PTO, and currently as a member of the Philoptochos Society. She is a dedicated member to the community. She co-chairs the annual Apokriatiko Gledi with the past honoree, Mrs. Seremetis, as well as being an integrated part of food preparation and for all annual festivals and many, many other committees. Ms. Dikeakos. We're moving on to Mr. Teddy Dikeakos. The next honoree, who has the same last name, Mr. Teddy Dikeakos, who was really, like I said, an Eleftherios, was born in Kourtsouna, Laconia, right outside of Sparti. He is also one of 4 children. He left Greece in 1958 and came to the United States. He completed high school, and while working in restaurants to support his family, continued to obtain electronics technology degree. He further grew his career as a manager responsible for maintaining critical medical imaging equipment at hospitals and healthcare facilities. He was a key person at Columbia Presbyterian in technology, where he stayed till his recent retirement. He was introduced to his wife, Eula, at at a Greek Orthodox Youth Association function, and they were married 6 months later. Wasted no time. Teddy has volunteered in the community of Saints Constantine and Helen for over 38 years. He has served on the Board of Trustees for many years, supported the annual festival, offers technical expertise wherever necessary, and is always available to assist in any way he can. We're proud of this couple. We love them very much. They're part of the St. Connie's family.
The next to be presented will be the presenter, Dimitrios Kalamaras, speaking on behalf of the honoree, James Ladis.
I guess on behalf of the Holy Cross community, we'd like to thank Borough President, I would say Captain Adams. He's not only the president of Brooklyn, but he's also a retired police captain, so we say as a captain of Brooklyn, you're guiding the ship of Brooklyn very well, and we thank you for that. Reverend clergy, distinguished guests, honorees, distinguished members of Greece and Cyprus, Consul General of Koutras, and we thank you for inviting us here for this beautiful event. On behalf of Holy Cross, on behalf of Brooklyn, we'd like to congratulate our honoree this year, James Ladis, who is a faithful member of the parish of Holy Cross Greek Orthodox Church. He has served as a member of the parish council for many, many years, has held the office of first vice president, and has also served as a member of the KEPT, and has held the office of president of the KEPT. James has devoted many hours of his time to the festival that we have annually, as well as the construction projects going on in the church on a daily basis, and for many years, both in the church and in our parochial school. He presently serves as the Holy Cross Parish as the church service liaison, and also volunteers in assisting the chanting of the church. And just so you know what the church liaison is, as parish council president now and as former altar boy 45 years ago, δεν ήξερα που βρισκόταν τίποτα. So, but for the McKellis boys and the Koutras boys telling me this is what we do, I wouldn't be a good functioning altar boy. But for this man here, telling the parish council where we stand, what we do, where we're supposed to be on any particular Sunday, because the Orthodox Church is quite complicated and has very, very many services and different standings. This is the source of all information. He is the librarian of the church. He is the fundamental ecclesiast of our community, and we can open the doors, I know that much, but beyond that, what goes on inside that church, but for Jimmy Ladis, we wouldn't function on Sunday. So we thank him on behalf of the community for all that he does.
May I call forward the presenter, John Haskopoulos, for John Makrinos.
Good evening, everyone. John Makrinos was born in Brooklyn on July 23, 1971, to the parents of Stamatis and Irene Makrinos, who immigrated from Greece to the United States to make a better life for themselves and their families. John's father, Stamatis, came to the United States from Chios, Greece, without knowing how to speak English, but through hard work and determination became a director of engineering for major U.S. shipping companies. John has served for the past 12 years on the Board of Trustees at Kymissis Theotokou Greek Orthodox Church, where he has chaired and participated in many fundraising events for the past 10 years. He has also coached basketball and soccer at Kymissis Theotokou, as well as baseball and soccer at the 68th Precinct Youth Council for the past 5 years. John is a member of AHEPA Brooklyn, Chapter 41, and the Metropolitan Society of Cardamilians. It gives me great pleasure to be here and present John with this honor today. Thank you.
Introducing the next honoree, Valerie Marcu, is Dimitri Kalamaras. Please come forward.
Borough President, you mentioned earlier the AHEPA chapter, and as we have one of our brother members from AHEPA Chapter 41, but we also have our national treasurer, Jimmy Kokotas, is with us, who is, I believe, national treasurer of the Order of AHEPA nationwide. So the good work that AHEPA has done for the Greek community, there's one of the men that keeps AHEPA, the flag of AHEPA flying. So we thank him for that and all the AHEPans that are here today that meet at St. Constantine Church every few Thursdays. And again, State Senator Tax from the other beautiful island. We have Manhattan Island, my borough of Staten Island, and Rhode Island. I guess they're all Greeks or Islanders today, right? We thank him for coming as well. Valerie Marcu, the lovely lady with us right here, is a loyal member of the parish of Holy Cross in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, lovely Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, we would add, and is a member and past president of Our Lady's Philoptochos, a philanthropic organization of our church. Valerie has been involved with the caring of the elderly, the less fortunate, and those in need of assistance. She has also traveled to Greece on a number of missions with the Philoptochos to serve children, the elderly, and those less fortunate and those needy. Valerie continues to serve on the Holy Cross Philoptochos board and tries to make a difference. In addition, Valerie has served for many, many years in the youth organizations of Holy Cross. She is a selfless, dedicated servant of the community, and that's what I think is the backbone of all our communities here, Borough President, that the people that are being honored today in the past serve their communities, serve Brooklyn as a result of that, without asking for anything back. And that is something that is to be prized. And the last thing I'm going to say, εκ μέρους της Ομοσπονδίας που έχω και τη τιμή να είμαι και πρώην πρόεδρος, 22 Απριλίου θα έχουμε την παράλυσή μας. We're having our Greek Independence Day Parade, April 22nd on Fifth Avenue. We expect everybody there. So we thank you so much. Valerie, congratulations.
I have the distinct pleasure as the pastor of Three Hierarchs Church to present the next lady, if she will come forward, Helen Pavlides. Helen has 2 sons, wonderful young men, and 2 grandchildren, and has dedicated her service to the community of Three Hierarchs for the entire lifespan that I've known her, and certainly well before that. She is the current member of the PTA as a tutor. She has helped underprivileged elementary school students. She has served her church for more than 35 years in the choir, in the balcony, singing astounding sounds. Take it as you will. 10 years as a superintendent of the Sunday school, and 9 years as president of the Senior Citizens Club. Helen, whose beloved husband James passed away in 2014, has raised thousands of dollars for Easter Seals in New York and New York City Relief, programming that helps the homeless and those with disabilities. She also runs a networking business that helps people create secondary incomes. She is truly civic in her outreach. She has been fortunate to travel throughout the country on behalf of her avocation, both to Greece and to Italy. Helen Pavlides. The next presenter is on behalf of Maria Tsoukaris, Mr. John Haskopoulos, if he will come forward.
Thank you. Maria Tsoukaris came with her family to the United States at the age of 12. She married her husband, Emmanuel, right out of high school, and they have been married for 46 years. Maria and Emmanuel have 2 children and 4 grandchildren. She has been a member of Kymissis Theotokou Church since her arrival in the United States. Worked for Bankers Trust, now Deutsche Bank, in the Controller's Department, and while there, also attended New York University, from where she received an associate's degree in business administration. Maria left Deutsche Bank and for the last 16 years has worked with her husband and son in a family-owned business. Maria is passionate about philanthropy and for many years had concentrated most of her energy and talents serving the Chaikia Adolfotis Agia Markella, a non-profit organization founded in 1939. Agia Markella's mission is to provide assistance to the children and the elderly, as well as churches and monasteries, both in the United States and in Maria's home island of Chios, Greece. Congratulations, Maria.
The final honoree will be presented by me. I'd like Sylvia Vellios to come forward. Sylvia Vellios from Three High Rocks Church. Mr. Adams, you know in my church we have a saying, if the pastor teases you, he loves you. If he ignores you, you're dead meat. I have teased her to death because her crosses are always bigger than mine. Sylvia Vellios has a long history of service to the Hellenic community, both here and abroad. She has helped and create and maintain 3 Greek schools, serving as a committee member for the Society of Young Adults, a board member for the past 32 years of the Ladis Philoptochos Society, and on the national board. 4 times she was appointed by Archbishop Iakovos to the Archdiocesan Council of the nation. She was on the Philoptochos board, where she served 4 years as first vice president and 4 years as president. Ms. Vellios was also appointed by Archbishop Demetrius to serve on the National Philoptochos board. Charity is also very important to Mrs. Vellios, who traditionally serves as co-chair for the Cyprus Relief, both here and abroad. We welcome Sylvia Vellios. We're trying to speed along so we can have this program ending on time. And now I would like to present James Tampakis, who has a story to tell that is uniquely expressive of our concerns here for Greece and for America as well, and maybe to introduce some of the very distinguished guests we have from abroad who are with us today. James Tampakis.
Mr. Koutsoupakis is here, who is the Minister of the Merchant Marine of Greece. I want to tell you a quick little story. I won't bore you. It'll be no more than 2 minutes. In World War II, the United States built a ship called the Liberty Ship. We built 2,751 vessels over a period of 3.5 years in 15 shipyards throughout the United States. We lost about 300 from the U-boats, and after World War II was over, since we had a lot of ships left over, the Greek merchant marine fleet during the World War II, while they were assisting the Allies to win World War II, lost approximately 600 out of the 900 vessels that they had. So they went to the United States and requested permission to buy 100 Liberty ships. The United States agreed, and they gave them the 100 Liberty ships in 1946. The Greeks, who wound up acquiring an additional 500 Liberty ships, so over the period of time, the Greeks acquired 600 Liberty ships. And that's how the Greeks became a merchant power again in the world. So in 2000, now I'm coming a little bit further up. In 2005, Mr. Senator Raptakis right here, who we have with us, was on board a ship going to his island of Andros, where he's from, with a Mr. Polemis, and they had cut all of the Liberty ships, they had scrapped all of them, and there were only 3 left in the whole world. The Jeremiah O'Brien, which was located in San Francisco, the John W. Brown, which was located in Baltimore, Maryland, and there was another ship called the Arthur M. Haddell, which was located in the James River that had been tied up for 30 years. And Senator Raptakis had heard that they were going to send it down to Brownsville to scrap. And he was all upset. He was like, no, the Greeks need a vessel for history so that we can have in Piraeus. So he went and grabbed Polemis on the boat and said, they're going to chop up the last Liberty ship. We got to grab that. and bring it to Greece. So George W. Bush signed a doctrine donating the last Liberty ship to Greece, and also in the doctrine, they also gave us the opportunity to take whatever other parts we needed to make the ship whole so that we can have a full Liberty ship, although it's not sailing. But so what we did was, in 2007, I got a call from Lou Raptakis and Mr. Polemis, and I assisted them. I was the project manager in the James River, and we brought the Liberty ship, the last Liberty ship, back to life. We did whatever the maritime, we met several times with the U.S. Maritime Administration, and we did whatever we needed as per the U.S. Maritime Administration so that we can make the ship seaworthy and send it over to Greece. Today, we have renamed the Arthur M. Hadel to the Hellas Liberty, and it's in Piraeus, and it is a beautiful ship, monument ship, and when we had the U.S. Maritime Administrator there 3 years ago, and he saw how the Greeks rebuilt the ship and how everything was perfect and pristine, they were saying, "We want the ship back." The Greeks said, "Don't even think about it." So, so today, if anybody ever goes to Greece for the summer, like everybody does, you should go by and pay tribute for the Greek Liberty ship, the Hellas Liberty, which is located in Piraeus. So I'd just like to bring up Mr. Koutras, just to say a good evening. So, for many, many years, for many, many years, Mr. Raptakis was trying to get a cooperation between the Greek government and the U.S. so that we can have an affiliation between Fort Schuyler Maritime and the Hydra Maritime School, the Merchant Marine Academy in Hydra. And for the last 5-6 years, I know Lou has been pushing to get it done, and Mr. Koutras stepped up to the plate and came over, and today they signed an agreement. So we have the Hydra Maritime Academy in Greece, which was a merchant marine training school it was established in 1749. And today, they signed an agreement with Maritime College of, SUNY Maritime College of Fort Schuyler, which was established in 1875. Two historic maritime academies have set their goals to run parallel programs, identical curriculums. When Greek students come to the United States, they get charged in-state tuition, and for all the Greek students, they have a study abroad program, and they can go back and forth, and vice versa. So that's why Mr. Koutras is here today, and it's our honor to have him, and he's going to say a good evening.
Καλησπέρα και από μένα. Κύριε Πρόεδρε, κύριε Ταμπάκη, κύριε Γενικέ Πρόξενε, κύριε Ραπτάκη, κύριοι εκπρόσωποι φορέων, κυρίες και κύριοι, θα ήθελα το πρώτο να συγχαρώ τους βραβευόμενους που αποτελούν και πρέπει να αποτελούν παράδειγμα προς μίμηση προς όλους τους συμπολίτες της περιοχής για τη δράση τους. Είμαστε εδώ γιατί θέλουμε να εορτάσουμε όλοι μαζί ένα μεγάλο ιστορικό γεγονός, την Επανάσταση του 1821. Μια Επανάσταση των Ελλήνων που συγκλώνησε ολόκληρο τον κόσμο. Μια Επανάσταση τέκνο του διαφωτισμού, μια επανάσταση που έχει ίδια περίπου χαρακτηριστικά με την Αμερικανική Επανάσταση. Το Σύνταγμα της Αμερικάνικης Επανάστασης ξεκινάει με 3 λέξεις. Εμείς ο λαός. Είναι η πεμπτουσία της προσπάθειας και του αμερικάνικου λαού και του ελληνικού λαού να γίνουν οι κυρίαρχοι λαοί στον τόπο τους. Αυτή ήταν η μεγάλη σημασία και των 2 επαναστάσεων. Αυτό που είχε πει ο Ρήγας Φεραίος, ο αυτοκράτορ λαός. Οι λαοί, εκεί που ήταν υπήκοοι κάποιον, ήθελαν να γίνουν αυτοκράτορες της τύχης τους, της ζωής τους. Και έτσι η Ελλάδα και η Αμερική από τότε έχουν μια στενή διαχρονική σχέση φιλίας και συμμαχίας. Και σήμερα το ίδιο συμβαίνει. Σε μια ρευστή ευρύτερη περιοχή η Ελλάδα παραμένει ο πιο σταθερός σύμμαχος των Ηνωμένων Πολιτειών. Εδώ εσείς οι Ελληνοαμερικανοί που ήρθατε μετανάστες από την Ελλάδα, δημιουργήσατε και σήμερα είστε ένα σημαντικό τμήμα της αμερικάνικης κοινωνίας που προσφέρει και στον εαυτό του αλλά και στην ίδια την πολιτεία στην οποία ζείτε. Θέλω να ευχαριστήσω για την πρόσκληση, θέλω να μεταφέρω σε όλους σας τους χαιρετισμούς της πατρίδας. Θέλω να σας πω ότι η Ελλάδα βγαίνει αποφασιστικά από αυτή τη μεγάλη κρίση που τη συνάντησε, έχοντας πολιτική και οικονομική σταθερότητα. Είμαστε αποφασισμένοι και στα εθνικά θέματα και με τη στήριξη τη δική σας να μην επιτρέψουμε σε κανέναν να απειλήσει ούτε σπιθαμής γης της πατρίδος. Να είστε καλά και χρόνια πολλά.
Inspiring words from across the sea, uniting both the American Revolution and the Greek Revolution and what came after, 2 glorious nations. I would like now, it is my honor and my privilege to present for a few remarks the Consul General of Greece in New York, the Honorable Konstantinos Koutras.
Dear Mr. President, Mr. Minister, you know, it's not very common when the minister speaks. Actually, I'm not allowed to say anything, but nevertheless. So, dear President, as we are celebrating today the Greek Independence Day, and in the same time we pay tribute to the substantial support and contribution of the numerous American Philhellenes to the success of our revolution, this is the day to say a great thank you. Our 2 countries, the United States of America and Greece, have forged, as the minister already said, and maintain in the best possible way unbreakable bonds of friendship. We deeply appreciate the warmth with which the United States of America has always embraced our community, making the city of New York, and especially Brooklyn here, a home away from home. And we thank you very, very much for that.
We're on American time, that's good. The closing remarks will be given to us by another Greek-American native of Brooklyn, and that is our beloved Andrew Gnardis, the Consul for the Office of the Brooklyn Borough President. Andrew.
you very much, Father. Good evening, everybody. I thought long and hard about what I wanted to say this year as we celebrate Greek heritage and Greek Independence Day, and it was a struggle, I gotta be honest. We could talk about how Greece has started to rebound in its economic situation, 4 straight quarters of positive economic growth. We can talk about the great rally we saw yesterday in Manhattan where thousands of Greek Americans came out to support Macedonia being Greek. We could talk about what's happening in the Mediterranean Sea with Greece and Turkey and Cyprus and the importance of having the United States to stand strong with Greece. But all of these things, I feel like they don't capture the beauty that is our Greek heritage. So instead, I want to tell you a very short story. And this is a story that happened to me personally about 2.5 years ago, right here at Borough Hall, and the Borough President would likely remember this. We were doing an event outside of our building, and it was an event to commemorate the victims of gun violence across the borough. And we were staging a mock funeral with a coffin and everything on the plaza that you all walked in from this evening. And in the middle of our mock funeral, a woman came up screaming and yelling, frantic. She needed help, she needed help, she needed help. And she was raving. So we pulled her into the building and we calmed her down. And she told me a story as bad as I've ever heard. And she was explaining how she lived with her adult son, who's developmentally challenged, on a very small fixed income in an apartment that can barely be called habitable. And she showed me pictures. There were holes in the walls the size of basketballs. And they had no furniture because they couldn't afford it. And they had bed bugs on their mattresses, so they got rid of their mattresses, so they slept on the floor. And at night, rats, not mice, but rats would come out of the holes in the walls and bite them while they slept. And then she rolled up her sleeves and rolled up her son's sleeves, and she showed me the bite marks. And like so many other people, she just was so overwhelmed by her circumstances, she didn't know where to go for help. And then she said something to me that just completely stunned me. She said, I know that we're poor and that we deserve to live with the rats, but there's too many and I can't take it anymore. Just think about that. I know we're poor and we deserve to live with the rats, but there's too many and I can't take it anymore. I was stunned, as I think many of you here are right now. Oftentimes, when we are going through our daily lives, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, nonstop, every day, all day, it's easy for us to lose sight of why it is we do what we do. And it's easy for us to lose sight of what gives us purpose and what gives our life meaning. And oftentimes we become more focused on the end, on the race that we're running, and we don't realize what's happening in the world around us. This was one of those moments for me. How do we recapture that? How do we refine the focus and purpose and meaning in our life? It's not an easy question. But after this happened to me, I rediscovered a poem, a famous poem that many of you in this room probably know, that helped me find that answer. This is a personal question, but it helped me find that answer. And I'm really happy to say that it was a poem by a famous Greek poet, which helped me rediscover why it is I do what I do, which helped me navigate that circumstance. And it's a poem that like I said, many of you know. It's called Ithaca by Konstantinos Koutras. It's very famous. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I want to just quote one section. Keep Ithaca always in your mind. Arriving there is what you're destined for, but don't hurry the journey at all. Better if it lasts for years, so you're old by the time you reach the island, wealthy with all you've gained along the way, not expecting Ithaca to make you rich. And then it continues at the end. And if you find her poor, Ithaca won't have fooled you. Wise as you will have become, so full of experience, you'll have understood by then what these Ithacas mean. Such beautiful words that remind us how important it is to live a value-driven and purpose-driven life. And these were words written by a Greek and that are known the world over. And when we look back on the annals of Greek heritage and Greek history, there's no shortage of wisdom that we find in the words of the poets and the playwrights and the philosophers and the soldiers and the leaders and our presidents and our religious figures, all from Greece, from the ancient days up until the modern day. And we can go on and on listing these examples. But I think it's important for us to reflect back on these wise words and cherish them. If you were here last year, you'll remember that I said that we can't be slaves to our heritage and our past, and we can't let what happened in the past dictate for us who we as Greek Americans and as Greeks are in the future. And I stand by those words. But the richness of our heritage is a great source of inspiration for all of us as we chart our own courses in a purpose-driven future. Thank you very much for being here at Brooklyn Borough Hall. Thank you for celebrating Greek heritage with us. Zito η Ελλάδα, zito η ελευθερία, zito η Κύπρο. Thank you.
We're almost concluded. I'm going to ask you to remain seated. The Greek delegation will come in the front here, please. The Greek delegation with the Borough President for a photo op. Would they please come forward? The Greek delegation only. Mr. Reptakis, would you join them as well? Thank you for your presence. And the committee can join as well, if they can get in the picture. But we're not finished yet. We have one more very important thing to do. As they are departing, we are almost closing our program. We'd like to call forward only the recipients with their citations, only the recipients with their open citations to stand next to the Borough President for this photo op. Thank you.